Hello, this is Mark from the MeTechie channel. I wanted to take a second and show you a program that I use literally every day. It's my second or third most favorite program of all time. It's called Snagit, and this is the 2022 version. And I wanted to show you exactly how I doctor up a page that I've snagged from Amazon in preparation for use in a video about something completely different. It's about a green screen. But I wanted to show you the power of Snagit, how quickly you can doctor something up. All right, so I've got Snagit here in the foreground. You can see that. And I've got this Show Maven green screen product that I want to present in my video, but it's filled with things that I don't want to present. I want to have this refined and curated so that it's got just the things I care about. So I'm going to use Snagit to do that. Let me get you started with this and you'll see exactly what I'm going to do. So first of all, I want the Amazon logo. I want people to know that it is Amazon that I'm talking about, but I don't want the deliver to Mark and the San Marcos and my zip code and my hello Mark and my accounts list and all this other stuff. Now I could blur it out and that might be fine, but I think I'm just going to extract the logo and just pull it aside, and then I can delete the entire top minus the logo. And I'll show you what I mean here. So I'm going to use this selection tool and I'm going to do a marquee, which is essentially a square, around the logo. And I'm going to pluck it right out of thin air, just like that, and put it over to the side. So now, in fact, I'm going to bring it a little lower just for a second, because you'll see another tool I'm about to use. I'm going to just yank off the top of this. Actually, I've changed my mind. I'm going to make another marquee around this top and cut it so that it's within the black, the darkest black area. And then I'm just going to hit the delete key on the keyboard. And just like that, my header is gone. Now I can bring my Amazon logo back and I don't have all the private stuff. Perfect. Now I can go ahead and leave the deals and all that. Now it says marksamazon.com. I don't want anyone to see my name, so I'm going to use the selection tool again and just highlight my name here. Got to be sure that my marquee doesn't go into another letter or it will smudge. So that. Now you might be saying, how can you just hit the delete key and keep the same background color? Well, there's an option in Snagit that is not set by default, and it's normally set to transparent, so that when you make that marquee and you delete something, it makes like a transparency behind it. No, you need to use the autofill, which will figure out the background that you're deleting from and fill in with that background. It's absolute magic. Okay, so far we've cleaned up the header. Let's see what else we need. I think it's okay. Well, this whole ad here in the middle, this photo studio stainless steel heavy duty, we don't need an ad in the middle of what I'm trying to present. So I'm going to use another tool here, which I'm really excited to show you about. It's called the cutout tool. And it's over here on my menu. It might be in a slightly different place on your menu, but cutout. Now with this cutout menu, you get all these choices here. You have straight lines and jaggy lines and tear lines. So I'm just going to use this straight line, horizontal. And now when I move my cursor over the screen, you see this trailing horizontal line that's following me. And I'm just going to select left click here where I want to cut and then drag to what I want to. Literally, I'm cutting it out like a scalpel. As I let go, not only will it cut it, but it will condense the open area so long as I click flatten all. The only reason it's asking me to flatten all is because I've already been monkeying around with the logo. So it needs to flatten it before it can continue with the next process. Since I'm committed and I like the logo where it is, I am going to flatten all now. The moment I flatten it, it's happy, and then that cutout just totally removed that ad. It was as if it wasn't there in the first place. Like I said, another thing of magic. Okay, now this sponsored logo here, we don't necessarily need the people to see sponsored, and it may not be sponsored by the time they watch this video, which might be years from now. So I'm just going to delete the sponsored thing. I think it's okay that we show them the categorization, the mini thumbnails, the actual image itself. We don't need the rollover image to zoom in because people might actually think they can roll over it to zoom in. So I'm just going to delete that little instruction set. Again, I'm just making the marquee using the selection tool and then hitting delete on the keyboard. Now, price is something I don't like to display because price changes all the time, and we don't want a viewer to be disappointed if they're paying more or excited if they're paying less. We just want price completely out of the equation. So I'm going to take price and all of this prime stuff right out of the equation like that. And we don't need all the mumbo jumbo propaganda here, so I'll delete that. I think it's okay to show the ratings and stuff. That kind of helps people realize that it's a good product. Again, we have the price up here. All of this with the adding to cart and stuff, that whole thing just needs to be removed altogether. Now, I could just do that, highlight it and delete it, or I could use that cut tool again. Let me use the cut tool, but this time I'll use the horizontal option. Now, and I can cut it this way. Now, if I cut it this way, obviously I'm going to be deleting Whole Foods and same-day delivery and all that. But I think for the purposes of this, it's okay. So I'm just going to cut from left to right, and it'll cut and swallow the remaining items. Let me go back to the selection tool. And I've got this random triangle here. We don't need that. We've got this line here. Don't really need that. I'm going to delete that little line. I'm going to grab this dimensional option and bring it and tuck it up nice and neat. So now I've actually formatted this in a little consolidated way, in a better consolidated way. Now I can just grab the bottom of the canvas, and it's basically an auto crop. I'll grab the left of the canvas and crop it this way, just like that. And then I'll crop the right. Somehow that got blown out of proportion. In fact, I'll crop it here so that we have about the same amount of room on the right as the left, somewhere in there. Okay, perfect. Additional tweaking could be that I could remove all the navigation. I think I will do that. I'll use the cutout tool again, horizontal. We don't really need to see all the navigation and all this. That will make the whole presentation a lot cleaner. I'll click Flatten All. Now we're left with the Amazon brand at the top left. We've got the green screen dominantly there. We still show the ratings. We show the full description and the optional sizes. We've got all the pricing and the mumbo jumbo and the fine print and all the stuff people don't need to see when you're talking about a product at the time you're talking about a product, which is, in the case of a video, which could age through the years. You don't really want to have anything that could be out of date. And that's it. So that's Snagit 2022. Those are just a couple of small features, but there's just a ton load of features that Snagit has, and I can't even begin to tell you how useful this program is. Number one, it's for doing stuff like this. And, yeah, you could crack open Photoshop and kind of monkey around and do the same thing, but just waiting for Photoshop to open, you'd have this all done. This is a much cleaner, quicker way to do things. Oh, now to use it in my video, all I need to do is Command-Shift-S, which will bring up my save dialog. You can also get that from the file menu, of course, which is Save As. And then you can choose any number of formats, whether it be a PNG, a JPEG, a TIFF, a GIF, BMP, or a PDF even. Or you could even save it into the Snagit compatible native format if you want to further make refinements, like if you want to know, I flattened it now, but if you wanted that logo and you wanted to move it a little bit and tweak it later, you can actually save it in its native format, or you can just leave it here in the Snagit program. So that's it. I'm going to Command-Shift-Save. I'll call it green screen. Put it on my RAM disk. Open up my video that I've been working on here in ScreenFlow. Command-Shift-V to import it. And there's my green screen from Amazon. I can decide where to put this. I may even separate the description from the green screen itself, or I may just tuck it away up here on the right. This is a 4K video, so even though this picture is kind of small, it'll be more than easy to read on pretty much any device, even though it's only 1/4 of the screen. They'll have no problem reading that because it's 4K high def. All right, so thanks for joining me on this video. Hopefully you learned some things. This is a very practical way to work with Snagit, and it's something I do literally 2 to 3 times a day, either working with images or something I scrape from the internet, from the web. Hugely, hugely helpful. Totally worth the price for Snagit. 100% worth the price.